The sun was dipping below the horizon, casting a golden hue across the quiet hills just outside the city. On a ridge overlooking a high-end innovation retreat center, part luxury hotel, part tech incubator, a man lay still in the tall grass. Dressed in muted shades that disappeared into the dusk, he held a camera lens with a tripod, but it wasn't for photos. His fingers tapped lightly on a small notebook beside him, one filled with business names, product pitches, and sketches. Names crossed out, systems studied, a plan formed. He checked his watch, 8:42 p.m. Still no movement at the target location. But in his stillness, his mind roamed backward to the 7 days that led him here. A week ago, Nathan Cole was the founder of a bootstrapped startup that had just begun to gain traction. No funding, no safety net. But what he did have was a business model built from grit and a vision that had finally caught attention. He taught people to build digital products by turning their past careers into value-driven coaching models. His flagship product, Method Built, was simple: structure first, brand second. His students came from everywhere: burnt-out teachers, mid-career professionals, recent grads. But just as he was finalizing his biggest deal, partnering with a major online education platform to license his content, it all vanished. Nathan's co-founder and only team member, a woman named Elise, had quietly cloned their product and pitched it to the same platform using a rebranded name, Creator Core. She changed the copy, tweaked the visuals, but the foundation? Still his, still Method Built. And now it was launching without him. Elise had left the shared Google Drive, ghosted him on Slack, and even removed his name from the business registry in a surprise legal filing. But what hurt Nathan most wasn't the betrayal. It was how methodically she'd done it. She hadn't just stolen the playbook, she stole the systems. Because Nathan built his business like an operator: SOPs, email sequences, course frameworks, launch timelines. Elise had studied under him for over a year, and now she was about to profit from every play he'd created. Still, Nathan wasn't here for revenge, not in the way most people might assume. After Elise's betrayal, Nathan did something unexpected. He disappeared. Not metaphorically. He sold what little equity he had left in a side project, paid off his lease, gave away most of his furniture, and booked a train to upstate New York. He found a small cabin owned by a retired UX designer and asked to rent it short-term. For the next 5 days, he unplugged from the noise and sat with the silence. He reread old notebooks, studied his own curriculum, sat beside the fireplace and reread Built to Sell, The Psychology of Money, and Show Your Work. One quote kept circling in his mind: "If someone can steal your system and it still works without you, was it ever really yours?" The thought haunted him, not because it made him feel replaceable, but because it forced him to rethink everything. Back in college, Nathan had served briefly in the Air National Guard. His specialty wasn't combat, it was operations, logistics, pattern mapping. He once rebuilt a squadron's deployment tracker after a misfiled form cost 3 people their travel clearances. His mind was always drawn to how things fit together. Now that same mind turned to his business. He realized that Method Built had been more than a brand. It was a philosophy. He had helped 200-plus students build out real structures for monetizing their expertise, not just pretty brands or vague coaching ideas. It worked because it forced people to slow down and think in systems. And that was the missing piece Elise could never replicate. She had the blueprints, yes, but not the why, not the soul of it. Nathan returned from that cabin with a new plan. He didn't want revenge. He wanted proof. So he decided to do something radical. He would rebuild Method Built, but in public. Not the name, not the platform. He chose a new brand, Slow Founders. It would be part business philosophy, part community. And this time, every system he taught would be open source. People could watch it being built, see every tool, every process, and every flaw. He'd document everything on a blog, share it through a newsletter, and even live stream office hours. He wanted to show the world that real entrepreneurship wasn't about hiding behind a wall of secrecy. It was about the process, and the people who had the patience to build slowly, intentionally, and without shortcuts. Meanwhile, Elise's creator core exploded in the press. She booked podcasts, launched YouTube ads, partnered with influencers. But then the cracks began to show. In the rush to grow, her team overpromised and underdelivered. Her content lacked depth. Former students of Method Built noticed the uncanny similarities and began asking questions online. Reviews began slipping. Refund requests surged. And behind the scenes, Elise's team was scrambling to keep it together. Nathan stayed silent. He kept building. Slow Founders grew from a blog to a community of 1,200 within the first 2 months, then to 5,000, then to 12,000. The key wasn't virality, it was resonance. He started teaching frameworks for ethical online income, email templates that focused on relationships over conversions. He brought in fellow bootstrapped founders to teach. He created a weekly Build in Public audit and invited people to show their messy systems. People loved it. Investors reached out. He turned them away. Then came the call. The very platform that Elise had partnered with, the one she had pitched Method Built to, asked Nathan for a meeting. They admitted the launch hadn't gone well. Users were confused. Engagement was poor. But more than anything, the philosophy felt empty. They asked him, without irony, if he'd be willing to license a different version of Method Built, one that emphasized reflection, systems thinking, and slow growth. Nathan smiled. He asked for a week to think about it. During that week, he went back to that same ridge he had sat on weeks before, not with a rifle, but with a lens. He filmed a short video, a personal story about betrayal, reflection, and building from first principles. It went viral, and then the emails came flooding in. From students, from solo creators, even from investors who didn't want equity. They just wanted to learn. Nathan eventually partnered with the platform, not for a flashy relaunch, but to build a quiet, invite-only space for builders who wanted to do things differently. He named the program Architecture Over Hype. And Elise? She faded into the background. Her brand pivoted, then pivoted again. Eventually, she left the industry. But Nathan never spoke badly of her. When asked in an interview how he handled the betrayal, he said, "If someone can steal your system and still lose, it's not because they lack the tools, it's because they missed the heart." He didn't raise a round. He didn't scale recklessly. He just kept building, quietly, thoughtfully, and with soul.